Hey everybody, this is Reuben from Pop Goulash. I just wanted to reach out to everybody and say, hey, you can follow us on social media on Facebook at facebook.com/popgoulash. You can also follow us on Twitter at Pop Goulash. If you want to participate with the show, please feel free to email us at popgoulash42@gmail.com. And we also have a voicemail number where if you want to leave us a voicemail, let us know how we're doing or have any suggestions for us, you can reach us at 224-325-4235. And we will see you soon. Thank you very much, and let's get this show on the road. Strap on those ear goggles, bitches. It's time for Pop Goulash. I'm Reuben.
And I'm Dana.
And welcome back.
Hooray! Another episode for your listening pleasure.
Making it all squishy in those ear holes.
So last week, you guys got to hear about some of our favorite cover songs. But this week, we're doing our assignments finally.
Yeah, homework time.
Homework time indeed, sir. Just to kind of recap you guys, the last time, well, not the last time, the time before the last, I assigned Reuben an assignment which was not, it's sort of music inspired, but I made him watch a fucking movie that you said you had never seen it, right?
No, I had seen it once.
That's right,
back
it was
like
once.
Right after, probably around 95, 96, I think.
Okay, so a couple years after it was released. But I assigned him the movie Reality Bites. And
in turn, I assigned Dana a collaborative album that I really enjoyed called The Minor Alps.
So excited to bring this review to you guys this time.
I think I may have actually assigned something to Dana that she's actually going to enjoy.
So he's correct. So I'm actually going to go first this time. I really enjoyed this assignment this time around. I'm kind of going to do something. I mean, I've kind of been doing my reviews like this anyway, but for me to make mine more structured, I'm not going to talk about every song on the album. I am going to talk about some of the songs that are highlighted in my brain that I really enjoyed, and some other miscellaneous information. So, yeah, the name, the band is called Minor Alps, and the album was called Get There, and it was released in 2013, I believe. And cool fucking fun facts about this particular album. Juliana Hatfield, and hopefully a lot of you fucking know who she is. Gal came around in the 90s, and honestly, really even before that. She had her own projects, the Juliana Hatfield 3. She did a bunch of solo stuff. She still does solo stuff. She was in a band called the Blake Babies.
Oh, she was in the Blake Babies.
She was, yeah. And the Lemonheads.
Yeah, wasn't she also in... No, never mind. No, I was thinking Babes in Toyland, but that was Tanya Donnelly.
That's who it was. It was Tanya Donnelly. Yeah, she... No,
not Babes in Toyland.
No, Belly.
She was in Belly.
Belly.
The Breeders. Tanya Donnelly was originally in the Breeders.
That's what it was. We fucked up. We corrected ourselves. But yeah, it was interesting when I was doing research, of like the artists and whatnot for Juliana Hatfield. I did not know. I had no idea that she was involved with the Lemonheads, but I guess her and Evan Dando are pretty tight. Yeah. I don't know if they were a thing. That was my inference anyway when I was reading up on it. But yeah, she was only in the band really for like 2 years. The other half of Minor Alps, though, is a guy named Matthew Caws. And he has been an active musician since 1985, and he's really known for being the lead singer of Not a Surf.
I'm popular. My mom says I'm a catch. I'm popular, which is like their big song that everybody knows.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I'm not.
I have friends of mine who are like Not a Surf fans and truly enjoy their shit. They've put out many albums.
Because they've been together for about 20 years.
Yeah, a long time.
So I mean, honestly, I never really got into them. I didn't.
The popular song was good.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good song, but that was about it. That's all my frame of reference. So, no offense, Mr. Caws, but It didn't inspire me to do a whole lot of digging into your background. However, though, the product that Juliana and Matthew put out is fucking gorgeous. This album, this was their brainchild, and apparently she and Matthew have been friends for a long fucking time too. I guess that they met originally at a Not a Surf show in the early 90s. And they became kind of like besties and started collaborating even back in the 90s. But for this project, this was cool. So they finally came together. And the band name itself, Minor Alps, little fun fact, it refers to the location of Matthew's parents' cottage in France. I didn't want to bore people with some more of the bullshit, but that's why the name came to be.
Surprisingly that they named it that because they recorded the album in New Jersey.
Well, totally.
And it was released by a label in Seattle.
Right. I know. It's so strange. But the really cool thing about this album is that they wrote and recorded all the songs together.
Yeah.
So instead of piecing the shit together like some people do, this was like a one-shot deal, you know? And
they played all the instruments on the album with the exception of the drums.
Yes, and I was actually going to mention that. The interesting was Parker Kindred, I think is his name. He's the guy who did the drums and the programming. And ironically enough, he worked on Buckley's second album, The Posthumous. Really? Yeah. So that was a little fun fact, which kind of
ties into
2 weeks ago. But so here's my general thoughts about the album. I loved the musicality of the album. The songwriting was fantastic. They really put out a great product, and a lot of the reviews that I read on the album too were generally positive. There were some that were not very supportive.
There's always some shitty assholes out there. They're gonna be like, they're just smackers. They're just somebody just trying to do something for their own artistic enjoyment. That's what all music is.
Thank you. You're just fucking jerking yourself off every time you put out music anyway. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So
those who can't just instruct others.
That's the thing. Right.
I can't be a musician, so I'm going to shit on everybody because I'm a troll.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. How about that? But yeah, so the majority of the reviews for this album were really, really, really good, which made me happy because even I didn't read any reviews on the album until after I had listened to it quite a few times.
Well, you also didn't know the album existed until I put it in your hands.
Yeah, I had
no
idea.
And then didn't know who it was until I reminded you like a month and a half fucking later.
Well, right, because I just, you had assigned it. I knew that I had it as an assignment, and I just didn't. Life got in the way, so I didn't even retain that information. And Juliana Hatfield, here's another little fun fact too. I've been in love with her voice and her talent since the 90s. She also had a small little guest spot on a little show called My So-Called Life.
Did she really?
She did. I think it was the Christmas episode, and she played a homeless girl who was actually a dead like an angel. It was really, I remember that too because I was like, oh, yeah. Well, I own My So-Called Life. I bought it last year because I love that damn show. But yeah, she was on there.
Was that during... Because she kind of had that homeless look during the Only Everything era.
I don't know.
She had that... Well, then again, it was between 93 and 96. It was that whole heroin chic look. Remember when that was a thing? The heroin chic look? Everybody looks like they're all junked out, but it was just not really.
I never got into that. For me personally, I couldn't do the stringy hair. Did I wear homeless people clothes sometimes?
We all wore homeless people clothes.
Yeah, I did. But yeah, no, she's been around for a while. Actually, her career spans around the same time as Matthew's career spans.
Oh yeah.
And I'm fangirling all over Juliana. Sorry.
Don't know too much about the other dude.
I really don't.
Yeah, and it's no detriment to him.
No, because honestly, it didn't.
He's had his career, but that's who we know.
Exactly, and it didn't affect how I felt about the album as a whole. This album, I'm definitely going to continue to listen to this album because all of the songs really they stand up on their own. They do, and it's just I think it's what sticks out to me the most on this album too. I've got a couple songs that I'll just kind of go through and tell you in a minute here, but the way that their voices blend together,
their harmonies are amazing,
fucking gorgeous. That's what stuck out to me first.
And jangly guitars. I really like jangly guitars.
I do too. I mean, this really kind of fit into my wheelhouse. As soon as I first put it on, I was like, man, this is really good stuff here.
Yeah, dude.
It's really, really a great album. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have not heard of it, unfortunately. I'm hoping some of you guys out there have. So, comment and let us fucking know.
Well, I told you how I stumbled upon it.
You said Starbucks, right?
Yeah, back in like 2-3 years ago, Starbucks, before they partnered up with Spotify,
right? They
would actually have these little cards you could pick up by the cream and sugar and all that. And I'm a Starbucks junkie. I can't help it. I like my coffee, and they're on the way to work.
Right.
And I make my own, and with good coffee too. Fuck you. Don't judge me. But they used to hand out free singles all the time.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I actually... Well, this was I believe when Dana was still in her fuck Apple stage. I got an Android.
Yeah, I mean, I had an Apple, and then I did go to Android, like, hardcore, like, in 2011.
Yeah, and So I saw it had the cover of the album on the card, and it said Minor Alps. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Because I would just grab them, because you never know, I'd catch something cool.
Right.
And damn, did I stumble into something amazing, and it was for the single I Don't Know What to Do With My Hands.
Well, so that is one of the songs that I want to talk about, because that is the song that I really enjoy.
That was the one that caught me.
Well, she covers it on one of her solo releases.
Yeah.
She's talking about, like, last week's episode about cover songs. I purposely didn't mention that because I was saving it for this one.
But is it a cover if you wrote it?
I mean, Joni Mitchell, man.
It's like a re-release, really.
And it's different, too. Her solo version of the song, it's
not going to have the harmonies that the original has.
And it's rockier, though.
Really?
It's even rockier. Like, I don't want to say it's like a full out, like...
balls out to the wall.
It's because it's not, but it's definitely rockier.
Well, yeah, I mean, this, like... The album mellow. That's on the album, it's mellow, it's folksy.
Mm-hmm. It's
jangly.
Very singer-songwriter. That's folksy, singer-songwriter. That's what stuck out to me because it's kind of my jam.
Right.
But yeah, that great call on that because the songs that really stuck out to me, Reuben mentioned the first one, I Don't Know What to Do With My Hands.
Oh, God damn it, it's such a good song.
Such a good fucking song. The other song...
And the funny thing is, too, I don't know if they took this from it, but the only other time I've ever heard the expression, I don't know what to do with my hands, was in the movie Talladega Nights, The Legend of Ricky Bobby.
Oh, God.
With Will Ferrell, when he's doing his first TV interview, and he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And then you see his hands rise up from the bottom of the frame, and, like, the newscaster keeps, like, grabbing his hands and putting his hands back down. He's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And he keeps pushing his hands down. So I don't know if they took it from that. If they did, that's fucking brilliant.
Now I kind of hope that they did. Maybe
so do I.
Maybe I'll pick her brain someday. But it's a great fucking tune. That's definitely a standout tune on the album. The other one that's a very standout tune is Buried Plans.
Oh, that's the lead track.
It's the lead track, but it's a very, very stripped down arrangement on this one. And the melodies and the harmonies, just very, very delicate. Just a beautiful song.
Yeah, dude.
I really... Like I said, I really appreciated this assignment this time around.
She's like, all the other shit you was assigned to me has fucking sucked. This one has been awesome.
No, I can't say that it sucked. It's just, a lot of things were different for me.
Which is part of the point of
this.
Part
of the point. One of the other songs that I really liked was Wish You Were Upstairs. I don't know how you felt about that song. That's definitely one that stuck out to me on the album.
Yeah.
Again, it comes down the whole core of this album is really their harmonies and how great they fucking sound together, singing and performing.
You know what? As far as songwriters together,
yes,
dude, they are incredible songwriters together.
They really are, and it's interesting. Like, here's the other thing too about Juliana. So, like, looking at her history and everything like that too, and just all the projects that she fucking does. She creates bands with fucking people all the time, constantly, and so she's obviously one of those artists who always wants to be creating something, and challenging herself. Like, she's got a solo album coming out that's I pre-ordered. It's going to be released next month.
Isn't that the one that's got the cover of I Don't Know What to Do With My Hands?
No.
No, she did that with Juliana Hatfield 3.
Was it?
I believe it was the Juliana Hatfield 3 because it was their comeback album.
That's you know what? That's probably what it was because I had it on the other day and I can't.
Which
recall.
let me tell you, like 2013 to 2017 has been the year of like comeback albums for bands that have been broken up for 20 years or more.
Which is so fucking weird to me because I don't know that that's really ever been a thing until, I mean, bands have broken up before. I'm not saying that bands never fucking break up and get back together. My point is, though,
it just seems like a lot of bands are getting back together.
Yes.
They're riding that nostalgia wave. And it's all the Gen Xers, man.
You know
why?
That's
because
true.
We got fucking money now because we're working.
That's true. That's fucking true.
Now, not to say that that's why they're doing it, but now we can afford to buy their shit, where we can afford to go to their shows. Now we can afford to pay $75 for the tickets to go see them.
Right.
When we used to see them at the Metro for $12.50.
God, yeah. Back in the day, man. Back in the fucking day.
Which was a Thursday, by the way.
Hell, I'd even rage on a Wednesday night, man. Like, I want to rock and roll all night, part of every day.
Yeah. Now I just want someplace warm to sleep.
It's pretty, I mean, that's kind of a thing. Every fucking day.
Fucking old, dude.
I feel that way too. But doing this kind of stuff, though, it really helps, like, re-engage me into that stuff.
Yeah.
One of the other songs that I really dug on this album, it's called Lonely Low.
Yeah, that was one of the last songs on the album.
Yeah. Just, and again, and I know I keep making the same remarks about these songs, but it's just, I can't.
You're a sucker for a good harmony.
I'm a very big sucker for a good harmony, and I really dig singer-songwriters and guitars and pianos when they're there too, but I'm really a big sucker for that. So this was a very easy album for me to be able to review. Mm-hmm. The last song that I really liked on this album was called Waiting for You, and this was a little bit more upbeat. I don't know, man. The whole fucking album is really good, but those were like the standout tracks to me.
Yeah, see, and I've done myself a disservice, much like you did 2 weeks ago. Like you hadn't listened to Buckley.
Right.
I haven't listened to this album in a while.
See.
So it's like I should have listened to it like today.
I totally
before
understand.
We started talking about it, but like it's a great fucking record.
It just is, and that's why I'm glad that you fucking stumbled upon that card at Starbucks, because
yes, am I.
Those are the kinds of things that I need to start doing. I know that they don't necessarily do it at Starbucks anymore,
right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, to find those,
but dude,
those little gems.
Absolutely. Well, even what you can do too is if you, I can't remember if you have a Spotify account or not.
I do.
But if you go into Starbucks and you launch Spotify, you can sync up to the store.
Oh, no shit.
And it'll let you know what's playing.
Interesting.
Like, I came across this really cool Christmas mix that they had playing. It was like a lounge Christmas. I really hate Christmas music. It's fucking depressing.
It is.
And, like, why is it such a joyous holiday that has some of the most minor key fucking depressing music ever? And they came out with it was like this really, like, hip DJ lounge music Christmas stuff. It was really dope.
Really?
Yeah, so like I listened to that a lot over the Christmas season. But yeah, if you go into Starbucks now and you can launch Spotify and you can see what playlist they're playing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
have to
pretty
check
cool.
that out then.
I spent a lot of time at Starbucks just because of work. It's like an office away from home.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows if I sit at my house, I'm going to scratch my balls and do nothing and not work. So I got to be outside of my house to get anything really done.
Yeah, for me, I don't. My Starbucks visits are in the fucking drive-thru when I have a chance to get there in the morning on the way to work to get my black coffee and call it like, let's start the fucking day and put on my big girl pants. So, but yeah, I mean, that's really, for me, what's also interesting about doing these reviews on things like that. I'm also really starting to enjoy digging into the backgrounds of the artists involved too, because I think that also helps paint a little bit of a picture about, gives you a little bit about their history, but it also kind of gives you some insight too as to why they would have done this project in the first place.
Right. Absolutely.
So I'm going to give this like 2 big fucking giant thumbs up as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, like I said, it's something that I already have like saved on my Apple Music. It's something that I've continued to listen to since I really started digging into it.
Yeah. And for the first time ever, like I got a text from Dana. I really dig this record. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. We'll talk about it on the podcast. Don't fucking, let's not do this. Oh, but I really love it. Shut the fuck up.
But that's all that I said. I didn't want to give him any insight as to how, like, anything specific. It's a good fucking album.
It's a great record. And like Dana said, it's available on iTunes. It's available on Spotify. You can buy it on disc. You may have to order it from your local record store.
Right.
Don't do Amazon, people. Like, find a local record store. Support your local record stores.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, you might have a Target in the area, but you know what? Go to kissthesky.net. Get the phone number. Call my buddy Steve or Mike that works there. They'll order it for you. They might even ship it. Hell, I don't know.
Right.
They used to back in the day. Maybe if you make your order big enough, they'll make it worth their while. So, but it's a great fucking record.
Yeah. So thank you.
Record. You're welcome.
I'm excited to give you your assignment when we're done with this too for next time.
As am I, because you're gonna fucking hate it. All right. So Dana had assigned to me Reality Bites. Now, I just watched the movie today, and I had to watch it in 2 sittings.
Okay.
I got up early. Not to watch it, but just because I get the fuck up early. I've fucking been crazy busy the last 2 weeks.
I understand.
So I watched the first, 50 minutes of the movie this morning, and then I had to put a pin in it.
Okay.
Because the boy got up, the older.
Sure.
And I had to fucking entertain his ass. I talk shit, but it's more like Louis C.K. talking shit about his kids. I love my kids, but I'm going to talk shit. Hopefully, they hear this when they're in their 30s and realize that I love them.
Right.
And then I had to watch the last 35, 40 minutes of the movie after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
But last weekend, I listened to the soundtrack before I watched the movie whilst I was making breakfast. One thing that I got just experiencing the soundtrack without the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is why I had such a disconnect with the movie the first time I ever watched it. Because listening to the soundtrack of the movie, the music on this movie was older than I was.
Yes.
This is the soundtrack of a movie. The music that was on the soundtrack would be the mixtape that, your cool older brother or cool older sister would give you.
Right.
You know, and you're like, this isn't Alice in Chains. You know, it was very 80s heavy, very 80s, late 80s, kind of early, mid 80s, like My Sharona.
Right.
And some of the stuff that was on that. But it was very like I said, okay, when I was a freshman in high school, I ran cross country.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there was a senior on the team at the time, and he was very into what we now call as alternative music.
Sure.
Or actually more accurate at the time, college music.
Right.
So he was very hip in tune with that. So I had to make me a mixtape.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty much what was
on the soundtrack.
Not song for song, but tonality, era, time frame.
Sure.
And it was one of those, like I said, it was like your cool older brother made you a mixtape, and you're like, I don't know what to do with this.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what to do with my hands to this. So there was a bit of a disconnect, because I'm like, well, do I like this because it's cool and I'm supposed to like it? Or do I actually like it?
Uh-huh.
You know, so that's what the impression of the soundtrack. Like it had shit like Tempted by the Fruit of Another.
Yeah.
Which is a good tune. You know, but at the same time, it's like, not really my wheelhouse. You know, My Sharona, yeah, good poppy tune.
Mm-hmm.
Not my wheelhouse. You got to figure when this movie came out, tonality of the movie was definitely not the tonality of the music that I was listening to, or the attitude of the music I was listening to at the time.
Sure.
You know, I was listening to shit that was fuck you counterculture.
Uh-huh.
And the music of this was like, what is this 80s shit? and I'm not trying to talk shit, but that's kind of what I gathered from it.
Uh-huh.
You know? Then I watched the movie. Holy shit, product placement, Batman. It was seriously, I felt like I was watching a commercial.
Really?
Yes, dude. All of the Coca-Cola products, Diet Coke was in it. It was specifically written into the plot because the woman who wrote the movie was addicted to Diet Coke at the time.
Right.
So, like straight up product placement, bam, right on the table, Diet Coke. Plus, Janine Garofalo worked at the Gap. Janine Garofalo wouldn't touch the Gap with a 10-foot pole. She wouldn't fuck a dude wearing Gap clothing with my dick.
But
okay.
She knew how to do the folds very well.
Total product placement all over the fuck.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, here are some of the ones that are very prominently featured.
Okay.
The Gap, BMW, Diet Coke, Pringles.
Oh, yeah.
7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
They did a whole commercial for the Big Gulp with her and Ben Stiller in the car.
Oh, they did.
Let's see here. Pizza Hut.
Yes.
Domino's. Evian. You know, I just figured out Evian is naive spelled backwards. Shut up. Camel cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Snickers bar.
Yeah.
Because Ethan Hawke's or Skeet Ulrich steals one.
Ethan Hawke or Skeet Ulrich?
I'm sorry, I get them confused, much like I get Ilsa Fisher and Amy Adams confused all the time because white people all look the same to me.
If you're white, you're Ben Affleck.
Right? McDonald's.
Yes.
Whole Foods.
Huh.
Let's see here. Ford.
Okay.
Because the loser stepdad's like, hey, you should get a Ford. And there were a couple other things. But like it was very prominent product placement and very prominently put out there. And that was like a lot, from what some of the research that I've done, that was a lot of the problems that people had with this film.
Really?
Well, yeah, look, we were in the height of like as much of the counterculture as Gen X was going to get at that time frame. Uh-huh. We were at the peak of it. And like I read that in one of the test screenings in Berkeley, at Berkeley, California, like UC Berkeley, when the Universal logo popped up on the screen, people booed.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude. So, but that was one thing that really like popped out at me. Like, God damn. Like, every time I turn around, they're talking about some major product. And this was one of the first films. I think this one, and Eli was telling me something about Top Gun being one of those that like was one of the first ones where product placement was really prominent. But this was like insane. Like I watched it, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? This looks like a commercial.
See, I guess I never looked at it from that lens.
So I saw that much. Ben Stiller's character, I don't know why he was in the movie.
Forgettable. I totally agree with you.
Like they put him in as like the fifth person.
Yeah.
And it almost made me feel like, apparently from what I was reading, like it went to every major movie distributor and couldn't get financed because it was trying to ride on the coattails of Gen X, much like Singles did. And Singles was a colossal failure.
Oh, yes, it was. I do remember that.
So they had a really hard time trying to find financing for the film.
Huh.
But it really thought like, sorry. I just said a bunch of words that did not go together. And I'm not even drunk. So it really felt to me like Winona Ryder was the Keira Sedgwick.
Yes, completely.
Ben Stiller was the Campbell Scott character.
Yeah.
Who's the other broad? Janine Garofalo was the Debbie Hunt.
Oh, yes.
Character.
But Debbie Hunt flipped on her head.
Yeah. Ethan Hawke was the Matt Dillon character.
Yes.
I guess the only one that really doesn't...
Zahn?
Steve Zahn would have been... He was like the other guy.
Yeah, see, and I don't remember.
Yeah. He was like the other dude in Singles.
Uh-huh.
So it was like, hey, we got our 5 people, so this is what's what. You know? So it just seemed like they were really trying to capitalize on that, even though the movie came out 2 years after Singles did.
Right.
But that's kind of what it felt like to me.
Okay.
I did not give a shit about Ben Stiller's arc in the movie. To me, Ben Stiller's arc in that movie was like them putting the Joker in Suicide Squad. And I know you haven't seen Suicide Squad.
Right.
They kind of like, in the Suicide Squad, they interjected Jared Leto as the Joker for no reason.
That's what I had read.
He had no point in the movie aside from the fact that like, hey, we're going to introduce him because he's the Joker and he's Harley's boyfriend.
Okay.
But he really, like...
He didn't add anything.
He didn't add anything. He didn't move the plot further.
Okay.
I didn't understand Winona Ryder's whole arc about... She was making this documentary. But all the footage that they showed in the movie was fucking shitty. Like, it was worse than some of the shit that I did in college for, like, some of my comms projects.
It was 1994.
I don't give a shit. It was 2000 when I was doing shit in college, and it was still better than some of that shit. She was trying to put this documentary together about Skeet Ulrich, or...
Ethan Hawke!
Ethan Hawke. Whatever. They look the fucking same. Fucking white people.
Hardly they look the same.
Dude, I'll show you. If you look at Ethan Hawke and you look at Skeet Ulrich, I swear to God, they're the same fucking dude. But
Skeet Ulrich looks like Johnny Depp.
If you fuck Ethan Hawke. But I don't understand that whole arc. So Ben Stiller's like a executive at this like fake MTV company.
Right.
Like she tries to interview
hits his car, or no,
yeah,
she threw the cigarette.
She threw the cigarette. He crashes into her. They try to settle. Like she goes into his office to talk to him about like the accident. Next thing you know, they're on a date.
Yeah, because he asked her out that.
I mean, like it's serendipitous, whatever. I don't give a shit. And nothing happens. They like bone once, and then like he goes to New York and he's gone for the rest of the movie. And then next thing you know, he's like calling her, "Oh, I showed your videos to the executives and they really like it," and blah blah blah. Then they go to like this fucking thing where they show his video, the premiere, and they cut it to look like the real world. Which, by the way, was better than the footage she was editing together.
Oh, it totally was.
And then she gets all shitty about it. This wasn't my artistic vision. Fuck you.
Well, but
no.
In all fairness, though, Reuben, the way that they spliced it together in that movie and the shit that they did, I get why her character was pissed.
I understand. And then they made a Pizza Hut out of it.
Right.
Really?
Which I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I didn't understand that entire arc. Like, I could see like Ethan Hawke's character and her character having this like weird like friendship lovers kind of you know like semi-incestuous by friendship type relationship. Like they like each other, they don't want to admit it to each other that they like each other, but they don't want to admit it, but they do, but they don't. It was total like a Mike and Maddie moonlighting kind of situation.
Good call.
Like even Janine Garofalo's character is like, why don't you guys just bang and get it over with?
Oh yeah.
You know, so like that was the arc they needed to really focus on. Like Ben Stiller just basically put himself into the movie because he directed it. It was his directorial debut.
That was my feeling because I much to your point, that storyline never made a whole lot of sense to me. If you wanted to talk about somebody trying to produce or direct her fucking documentary, whatever you want to call it, they could have written a better storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, come to find out that the script was written when the woman who wrote the script, she was 19.
Okay, so she was a kid.
Yeah. But you know what? Superbad was written when fucking Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen were like 14, and it was a way better script.
Right.
You know, like Steve Zahn's character was barely there. Like he was just like, he was furniture, really.
Yeah.
You know, Janine Garofalo was just kind of like snarky best friend. She might as well have been Daria's best friend, really. Which I think is probably, which is probably what it was based off of. Like, and it really seemed like, and I'm sure it was not the intent, but a lot of the dialogue in the first 45 minutes of the film was like, hey, let's find out, or let's create slang for these kids to use these days.
You think so?
Oh, I don't think it was intentional, but it certainly worked out that way.
Right.
You know, there was a lot of things that they said, and I didn't write any of them down, but there were certain colloquialisms that they were using. Now, it could have been because it was of the time.
Sure.
Or it could have been that, like, they wrote it and people picked up on it because it was the movie.
Right.
You know? I was just like, ugh. It just seems so manufactured.
See, I guess it's interesting because I feel like...
Like, what's your damage? Really?
Well, it's interesting because I feel like you've got a more critical eye than most when it comes to that. Like, for me... I don't know, that movie I just always identified with it. I didn't really look deep into, even still, like, you know, 20 some years later, I didn't really look deep into like the product placement or, now the Ben Stiller character though, I agree with you. I think even when I watched it back when it first came out, I had a problem with that character. It didn't, like you said, it seemed forced. So that to me is, I always wanted or thought that there should have been more of a storyline between Winona Ryder and Ethan Hawke. Right. So...
Well, and then, like, every character was, or thought, they were way smarter than they should have been.
They all... You know what? That's a good... All of the characters were made to seem that way, and it was just like they were... But I think part of it, though, too, in all fairness. If the girl who wrote it was 19 at the time.
They think they know every fucking thing when you're 19.
And that's what she is perceiving, that these characters, they graduated from college, they should have the world by the balls, and that's not the fucking case.
No.
I mean, I'm lucky I can still wipe my own ass at fucking 37 years old.
Dude, my finger still breaks through the toilet paper from time to time.
Right? I think that is the perception, and I think even back then, a lot of people perceived college graduates as having that holier than thou, I know everything in the world
and
kind
that was
attitude.
The weird thing, too, was because, like, forever, people who are older have been playing people who are younger.
Oh, totally.
Janine Garofalo and Ben Stiller, or Janine Garofalo for sure, and Ben Stiller were both in their 30s.
God, were they?
Yes, Janine Garofalo was 30, and I want to say Ben Stiller was 29 when they made this movie.
Okay.
But they were playing folks that were 23, 22.
Ben Stiller, I still think his character was supposed to be a little bit older.
True. Now, Winona Ryder was maybe a year older than what she should have been. And Skeet Ulrich the same. They were both born as
Ethan fucking Hawke.
Fuck you, they're the same people, I swear to God. Like I said, like Ilsa Fisher and Amy Adams, they're fucking interchangeable.
I agree with you on that. However, anyway.
I get it. You gotta...
I love Fisher.
No, it's Ilsa.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. Anyway.
I don't know. It was unrelatable.
Didn't get into it. It's Isla, by the way.
I don't give a fuck. Whatever. She's still interchangeable.
Saying her name wrong the whole time. Whatever.
So, but yeah, it was. I couldn't relate really to any of the characters. And the weird thing was, like, they were bringing out like Ethan Hawke's character to be like, oh, he's this musician and he's in this band and he's doing this thing and he's just this rock guy. Mm-hmm. You got more rock guy out of Matt Dillon in fucking singles, and you never even saw his band play.
I still liked Ethan Hawke's performance in the movie.
I thought the song that he did sucked.
Oh, it wasn't like, a great song.
I wrote down here, Skeet's song sucked. Like, he should have just gotten a job, is what I put. And then, like, they covered the Violent Femmes song for Add It Up.
Yep.
And because it was a PG-13 movie, the part that he says, why can't I just get one fuck? He was just like, why can't I get just one? Really? You're going to say that in a rock club? Go fuck yourself, Skeet Ulrich. You're not going to do that.
I wonder, so here's a question for you, though. So I wonder if you're trying
I honestly, like the Buckley album, I went into this trying to be as open as I possibly could about it.
But I'm wondering if you're not clicking with it because it's 20-some years old. And we're past that part.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that at all. Because even like it seemed very disjointed too. Like at the very beginning of the movie, it was just a bunch of scenes cut together. Like they kind of held a bit of a narrative, but they didn't really hold like a very strong narrative.
Okay.
Like, okay, they graduated from college. Then next thing you know, they're in like. They graduated from college. They're on the rooftop. They're smoking their cigarettes, which, by the way, a lot of smoking in this movie.
Yeah.
A lot of smoking. There was one scene where they're passing around a Coke, or like a soda can, probably a Coke can.
Yep.
Or it was what beer had a blue label? I think it was like a beer can.
A Bud Light.
Something. And they were passing it around. They were smoking pot. It was implied they were smoking pot.
Yeah.
And there were a couple times where they implied that pot was being, like after Winona Ryder got fired from her job by John Mahoney from Frasier, who played an awesome asshole in this movie.
Yep.
Love that guy. But after she got fired, like she basically becomes a hermit and runs up like a $400 phone bill
from her Psychic Friends network.
And her buddies, and Janine Garofalo walks in the door. She's like, "You're fucking high, get out." Well, she doesn't say fucking because it's a PG-13 movie. And she's like, "You're high, just get outside and get some fresh air and walk it off and blah blah blah." But there was a lot of smoking. I was shocked at the amount of smoking.
The whole movie.
Yeah, everybody smoked.
Yeah,
everybody.
But you know what though?
Except for Ben Stiller.
Back then. That's how me and my friends were, though, too. We all smoked cigarettes, all of us.
Yeah, and they chain smoked.
But, yeah.
Yeah, they were all, like, it was weird. But a lot of the scene, okay, so they were on the rooftop. Then next thing you know, for an unestablished amount of time, Janine Garofalo and Winona were living together as roommates.
Yeah.
for an undetermined amount of time. It could have been a year after college. They could have been living together for 3 years after college. You don't know.
Right.
Like, that information is fucking poignant to see, like, how their relationship, like, you knew that they were friends in college, but to see how their relationship built. Because later on, they were like, oh, well, I took you, like, Winona tells Janeane Garofalo's character, well, I took you in when you didn't have a job and blah, 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 and I didn't treat you like shit or whatever it was. You know, but yet, really, we didn't see that part of the movie. You know, we didn't see that part of their narrative. Like, it would have been better if they would have, like, focused a lot on the friendships and really given you the idea of how all these people have been interconnected and why they're interconnected and why they've managed to remain friends. Because really, at the core of this movie, it's about these friendships.
Sure.
But they did nothing to really establish these friendships.
That's a fair point.
You know? So, like, there's all of that. And then all of a sudden, like, you see her work, like, Winona Ryder's working as this production assistant, and Janeane Garofalo, who's fucking supposed to be, like, smart as all get out, is working as a fucking part-timer at the Gap, and only in the middle of the movie does she get promoted to store manager.
Right.
Which is hilarious, because she'd be like, I'm making $400 a week. God damn, 94 sucked as far as that was concerned, you know? Like, damn, honey, you're bringing home $1,600. Not even bringing home $1,600 a month. You're making $1,600 a month.
Right.
Damn. But, you know, it was one of those where I was just like, okay, so, and then, like, next thing you know, it wasn't even that much of a jump. Next thing you know, Skeet Ulrich moves in. Okay. Whatever the fuck his name was, Troy.
I'm always gonna Troy. There you go.
So he's moving in, and you don't even know what's going on with him, because 5 seconds before they show him moving in, you see him like looking around. He's working at a newsstand at like 4 a.m.
stealing candy bars.
And he steals a candy bar. The next thing you know, that now he's moving in with them because he got fired for stealing a candy bar. Like, how many candy bars was he stealing? Did he steal like a fucking carton of them?
I thought that they touched on that though.
No, not that I'm aware of.
I thought that they did, that he had done it, or he makes a reference that he had been doing it and he justified it. Like, that whole scene where he justifies why he stole the candy bars.
See, because I just saw him moving shit in, being snarky, and like Winona Ryder being all pissed off because she's like, why are you moving in here? You don't live here. You know, she was pissed off because he was moving in, because he got fired.
She was dating Ben Stiller at
No, that wasn't. She had not been. No, that was before Ben Stiller and her started the dating thing. Yeah. Oh, trust me, it's fresh. I just watched it this morning.
No, I know. I guess I just thought because she was all shitty with him, so I guess I just made that assumption.
No, I think she was shitty with him because he was moving into their place and he had no, like, income. But it was weird, like, where was he moving in from? Was he living with his parents? Did he have his own apartment that he got kicked out of? Because let's face it, if you lose your job, tomorrow you're not looking for a new place to live.
Well, no, but I think you're like really like focusing this huge lens on like some of the things that, like, I don't know, that need to be focused on.
See,
like
but
that.
I'm a plot guy. Like, I need to, like, I am curious about why does character A get to, or why does this character get from point A to point B? What happened in that time frame? Why did that happen? You know what I mean?
But I think some things you can infer. So, like, you know, yeah, he's moving in with them, but because he probably got kicked out from wherever he was living. I know that they don't really flesh that out so much.
No, that's the problem. They don't flesh out any of the characters. They're all one-dimensional, two-dimensional characters that really are just they're archetypes of people. Which, you know, in some movies it can absolutely work if you got a great script and you got a story to go around it.
Sure.
In my opinion, there were two truly real moments in this show, in this movie.
Okay.
The one was when Janeane Garofalo's character was terrified that she had AIDS.
Yep.
That was a real moment.
And
like
that
made you like
compelling for that time,
especially
too.
for that time frame, because people were dying of that shit.
Yep.
And it made me give pause and think about it.
Sure.
And it made me concerned for her character.
Yeah.
Because she even talked about being promiscuous, and she knew somebody who had AIDS, and she's like, I might as well just have it right now.
Yeah.
That was real.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated that scene in the movie. The other scene that was real was when Steve Zahn's character came out to his mother.
Oh, I still cry.
And he's sitting on the stoop, and you can see in the window behind him his mom pacing around the house.
Yep.
And that was real.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for that time frame.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for that time frame.
Oh, yeah.
And
because that was before Matthew Shepard and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same point, it was like those were two very real moments focused on two characters that were not the lead characters of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't even know, like, Steve Zahn was like a nothing character. His character was a nothing. He was like I said, he was furniture until this particular scene.
That's true.
They gave no indication that he possibly was gay. All of a sudden, you're like, they're showing like the interview on the shitty Hi8 video VHS footage.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, so, like, they did that really bad acted scripted thing between him and Gene Garofalo where he's practicing coming out to his parents.
Yes.
Which was kind of humorous.
That was funny.
But then next thing you know, the next scene, he's like, yeah, I just told her, and I don't know. You know, and that's basically how they left the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this massively poignant moment for this character.
That was a miss.
There was an absolute miss because there was nothing that brought you in to care about that character enough.
Sure.
But it was a poignant, like, honestly, those two characters were the most interesting characters in the movie, and they got screen time, but there was no story to them whatsoever.
Okay.
That's my take on it. Like, it was a bunch of great opportunities and a lot of complete misses on it.
That's
the craziest
fair.
The craziest thing in some of the research that I was doing on it, they had 3 test screenings of this movie before it actually went out to market.
Wow.
And it was still that.
Still wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
See, and that also makes me wonder if that's why the movie Suburbia came out in like 96, Richard Linklater. It was Giovanni Ribisi, Nicky Katt, Steve Zahn, Parker Posey.
But you also had Richard Linklater, though.
Yeah, but that movie never made it big. That's why I'm saying.
Well, neither did Slacker either, which was Richard Linklater's first movie.
Right.
But that was still a great movie. Slacker was a anthology type movie where it was just a bunch of vignettes of different characters and they kind of tied together a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But that was the movie. But it was brilliant. Like, Linklater's a brilliant director. He's a brilliant
and he's an
writer.
Actor too, I think.
No, he's not.
He's not? I thought he was.
I don't believe so. I
thought I read that.
No, he's a brilliant writer. He's a brilliant director. I mean, he gave us the 70s movie, Dazed and Confused.
Oh, yeah.
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 You know, like, he is a brilliant filmmaker. Stiller, not so much.
No,
there were some shots in the movie that I was like, why did you make that shot? Like, there was one where, like she's holding up a phone, and they zoom into the phone for no fucking reason whatsoever. It wasn't even a poignant part of the movie.
I don't even remember.
Or a poignant phone call. There was no point whatsoever. He just kind of, hey, we're going to zoom into the phone right now because it's going to look cool. No, you don't do shit because it looks cool. I mean, you can. Mm-hmm. Tarantino's made a career out of doing shit that looks cool, but it also worked within the framework of the film.
Sure.
So, and then, like, if you take it to the other side, Cameron Crowe. Cameron Crowe's a brilliant writer. Mm-hmm. He's a brilliant director. Now, Singles made its money back on the aftermarket.
Sure.
And with the soundtrack, because that soundtrack was a phenomenal soundtrack.
Yeah.
Reality Bites, I'm sure, has made its money back over the last 20 years or so. But at the same time, we're talking about if you look at Suburbia, we're talking of 3 different caliber of movies. And
You've
3 different
seen Suburbia too, right?
I may have. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, they were all low budget, practically indie films.
I know Suburbia for sure.
Yeah.
Was.
But at the same time, it's like you've got these 3 different films kind of all focusing on the same subject matter. A group of friends, unrequited love that might or might not go one way or the other.
Uh-huh.
And next thing you know, like I think this one really missed the mark. I think Reality Bites really missed the mark. There were some good moments in it.
Sure.
But it was billed kind of as a rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't laugh at all. I didn't think anything was extremely funny. I didn't even give, like a consideration laugh. It really seemed like a novice script and a novice director with some pretty good talent. It was acted well. You know, I wouldn't shit on anybody's performances. I think everybody performed their roles well.
Uh-huh.
But it was a novice script from a novice film writer. It was a novice directorial debut, and it really missed the mark for me personally.
Right on.
Now, the lady that wrote it really didn't do much of anything else after that.
Yeah, I wondered if she had.
Now, her name, to give like proper credit where credit is due, her name was Helen Childress, and yeah, she did a TV movie after that. Let's see, as a writer. No, that's it. She had something this year called Model Woman that starred nobody. That was supposed to come out last year. It was supposed to be a TV drama. She was a creator of it. Probably went to pilot, didn't go any farther. But she hasn't done anything since Reality Bites as far as the movie sphere is concerned.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a one and done for her, which is, whatever. She had her moment.
It sounds like that's how you feel about the movie, though, too. And that's fair. That's fair.
Now, would I watch it again? I may try to watch it again. Like, apparently Evan Dendo's in it.
Yeah.
Missed him.
Yeah. I think it's
Dave Pirner was in it. I missed him. I didn't see.
He was in the bedroom scene. See, I wonder if you were, and I don't say this to be a dick, I wonder if you were completely engaged in it, watching it, though, because Dave Pirner, it's very obvious when he's there. It's the next morning, Janine Garofalo kicks him out of her bed.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and maybe I was more trying to figure out plot and look at character than try to find out the side characters and the cameos and stuff. But I also heard that, like, looking at the stuff, that he was in some of that weird VHS footage too that was in the movie. He was in some of the cutscenes for that.
I'd have to look at that again and see. But yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it might take another sitting for me to actually sit down and watch it uninterrupted.
Sure.
But I don't know, man. I've seen it twice, spaced between 20 years, and I'm still not impressed with it.
Right on.
And hey,
that's why we do it.
Not everything is a hit, not everything is a miss.
Right.
So, but I appreciate you, challenging me to it. And like I said, I'll give it another shot at some point in the future.
Yeah.
But as of right now, yeah, I mean, I would give it I'd give it a C+.
Okay.
If I had to give it a grade. So.
Well, hopefully you will be more into my assignment for you for next time, because I am really stoked about this.
Okay.
My buddy at work turned me on to this about a week or so ago, and you had said something a few episodes ago about how you've been like craving and wanting to hear something so fucking different. And like when I heard this, I looked at him and I'm like, John, dude, yeah, I'm like, I get it now. Like, I have been waiting to hear something like this. So I'm hoping that you have not heard of this particular artist. I want to assign you, it's an artist called Shaky Graves. And Shaky is not spelled correctly either. It's
S-H-A-K-E-Y.
Yep, yeah. I want you to listen to his very first release. I believe this was the first one. It's called, no, maybe this one wasn't the first one. Regardless, it's called And the War Came.
All right, it's on Spotify. It's the only one they've got on Spotify.
Okay, good. So it's on there. So yeah, totally want you to check that out, because this, I was so fucking impressed.
Okay.
When I heard him, and he's from Austin, Texas, and I don't want to tell you anything else. I want you to do some research on him, because after John and I discussed his musicality, I looked at him and I was like, holy fucking shit, no way. So
right
I believe that, yeah.
And I will see that, and I will raise you one of my favorite sci-fi movies, and it's absolute shit.
Okay.
It's not shit. I love this movie. And it gets shit on a lot because the science in it is fucked up and it's total bullshit. But it's a hell of an entertaining watch.
Okay.
And it's a movie starring Scarlett Johansson.
I like her.
And Morgan Freeman.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's called Lucy.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
This movie, for me, is the reason why Scarlett Johansson should have a solo Black Widow Marvel movie.
Is this based on?
No, it has nothing. It's not based on a comic book. It's an original idea.
Okay.
It's not based on anything, and it was done by a director. Oh, what the fuck was the director's name? Oh, yes, Luc Besson, who did The Professional.
No idea.
Luc Besson also did, he's done a ton of shit. Let's see here. Luc Besson is like one of these crazy directors that's done a ton of awesome shit, and I love his movies. He did The Fifth Element.
Never saw it.
He did, let's see, I don't care what he's produced. He's produced a ton of fucking shit. But he did The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis and Chris, whatever the fuck his name is. So yeah, he did The Fifth Element. He did, wow, he's done a ton of shit. A lot of French films. What did he do here stateside? The Fifth Element came out in 97. Leon the Professional. La Femme Nikita?
No, I didn't see it.
No, you didn't see that one either. Those were like his big three here in the States.
Okay.
But it's a brilliant movie. I love it. It gets shit upon horribly by everybody. I love it.
Okay. I will check it out.
And it's got Morgan Freeman, so you can never go wrong with the voice of God.
I will check it out, man.
So, all right, guys. Well, that is it for our review episode, our homework. Tune in next week.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Pop Goulash. Find us at Twitter. Our handle is at Pop Goulash. You can email us at popgoulash42@gmail.com.
And you can call us at 224-325-4235. So we'd love to have you guys participate in this. If you've got some homework you'd like us to do, let us know. We'd be more than glad to check your shit out. And we'll take assignments from our listeners. Absolutely. This is this show is a conversation, and we definitely want you guys to be part of it. So yeah, hit us up. We're dying to hear from you. We need that kind of attention. We're whores for it. So for Pop Goulash, I'm Reuben.
And I'm Dana.
Be good to each other.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye.